All right, we are live. What's going on, T-shirt millionaires? I'm Charles Smith III, the host of the T-shirt millionaires live show, and today I am extremely excited. We have another amazing guest. I know this
Oh,
conversation, as we always say, is going to be inspirational, but it's going to be informational. We have Danielle Tashae, the owner, the founder, the creator, the mastermind behind a brand that's called Love Billboard. And so I've
yes.
checked her out. I looked at her Instagram, looked at her profile, looked at her website, and I think she has some amazing things going on that's really going to help
Thank you.
you understand how to take your brand to the next level. If
Yes.
I'm not mistaken, we're going to get into the story. If I'm not mistaken, I
Yeah.
think Danielle started this somewhere around the pandemic. It's
Yes.
gone crazy. So I look forward to it. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned in, share it with a friend. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hit this intro video, and we'll be right back to have a great convo with Danielle, the founder of Love Billboard. All right, what's going on, T-shirt millionaires? I'm Charles Smith III, the host of the T-shirt millionaires live show. Danielle, what's going on, family? How you doing today?
Hello, hello. I'm so excited to be here. I've been ready to get on here to talk to you. So I'm energized. I'm ready to go.
I love it. I love it. I love the energy, and I've been looking forward to this one as well. I know it's going to be good. So I like to just go ahead and start it like this.
Okay.
Who are you, and
Okay.
what is Love Billboard? Tell me about both of these things.
Okay. So me, you know that old saying, I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about
Hey,
somebody
there we
who
go.
can change anybody or save anybody. For real, that is who I am. I had an encounter with God. I was a fan of God and not a follower of God for a very
Mm,
long time in my life. And April 19th, 2014, I was a cop. I was married. I was an alcoholic. We about to get good in this, right?
I
Who
love it
I am. So I'm about to tell you.
for sure.
And I was a hot mess. And I told God, I said, Lord, I need some more time. The very next day, I mean, not the very, yes, the very next day, I asked him for more time. April 20th, it was my birthday. I asked the Lord that I needed more time because I wasn't ready to give up some stuff, right?
Hmm.
And I thought before I came to Christ, I need to be all good, which was a lie, right?
Hmm.
How can you? So I wasn't ready to give up alcohol. I had just got a divorce, so I wasn't ready to give up sex outside of marriage. I wasn't ready to give up anything.
Hmm.
And I'm at the club because it was my birthday. This was the next day.
Right.
Listen, so I'm at the club, and because that's what you do, right? It's your birthday.
For
You're at the
sure.
club.
For
So I'm
sure.
at the club, but I had just had this conversation with God, telling him that I need more time because I felt him saying, I got something for you.
Hmm.
This girl come up to me and say, hey, I follow you on Instagram. I like this, I like that. Can I get a picture with you? Right. So we took the picture. Literally, this is when it get crazy. We took the picture as fast as the iPhone camera flash. She was on the ground, face first.
Mm.
Right. So I'm like, wait a minute. So the cop side of me was like, help her. I didn't know it was the Holy Spirit side. I thought it was the cop in me. But the cop
Mm.
in me was like, help her. So I went down to help her. We get her to the hospital. 15 minutes later, they putting tubes down her throat. I'm looking like, they like, what she eat? Listen, I don't even know her name. She just asked me for a picture.
Right.
What she drink? I don't know this girl. They came up to me and told me, I'm sorry, we lost her.
Mm. Oh, wow.
And in that moment, the Holy Spirit said, Danielle, you asked for more time, as if the breath in your lungs belonged to you. It belongs to me. And I told you I got a job for you to do. That moment changed my life. So you
Woo.
ask me, who am I? I am somebody who's seen God work
Wow.
in the blink of an eye. And from that point on, I am just out here to share with people whatever God told you to do it.
Wow.
Do it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So that's who I am. I just want to share that message, with people, share my journey. My journey has not been perfect. I'm a hot ratchet mess. To be honest, like I'm not on here to try to sugarcoat. I don't know what other people do, but trying to be perfect is exhausting.
Hey, that's a fact, though. That's a fact.
It's tiring. You
That's
know
a
what I
fact.
mean? Like
Yeah.
people go crazy because they trying to like look cool. I ain't trying to look cool. I'm a hot mess, okay,
Boy.
without God. And that's how Love Billboard came about.
Yo, I mean, first off, that story took a sharp turn
Sharp.
real
Oh yeah.
quick.
Oh yeah. I was at the club. I was turning up, and now this girl is in my arms, passed away.
Wow.
And right after that situation, that's when everything changed for me. I went into a depression,
Mm.
a real depression, and God woke me up and was like, "Run!" And Charles, I'm gonna let you know, I'm not an athlete. I look athletic, but that's genes. And so I knew it was not me. You know what I mean? Because when God tell you something, if you know that's not your first thought and it's for positive things, you're like, okay, that must be God, because the devil ain't gonna tell me to run.
Word.
So I was running, and as I was running, I was seeing these signs on these billboards.
Mm.
And these billboards was like random. Like one was a Delta sign that said something, and one was a Dunkin' Donuts sign that said something. But I was looking in my spiritual eyes, and it was saying things to encourage me. And in that moment, God was like, I want you to take people and I want you to turn them into walking billboards of love, faith, and hope. So when they walk past other people, they can read what's on their t-shirt and they can be inspired and encouraged, because everybody's looking for a sign. Everybody's looking for me to say that it's okay. And Love Billboard was born.
That's fire. That's fire.
Yep.
That one came straight from the source.
That came from straight from the source. So is this t-shirt right here? This was our main one. I'm a better person when I put God first, and that's real. It's not just like an idea I was sitting there trying to think about. It literally came from like, no, really, I am a better person when I put God first in everything that I do.
Is that your first? Was that your first shirt, Danielle?
That's my first shirt. That's my first.
Wow.
I made it on a Cricut machine, my friend's Cricut machine. You know what, the weaving?
For sure.
Couldn't afford that. I didn't even know how to use it. I made it on my friend's Cricut machine with a $4 t-shirt, and now we are almost a six-figure business. All God.
Hey, all praises to the Most High.
All
Okay, all
God.
right, I love it. I love it. So, back me up a little bit. Tell me about
Yes.
this law enforcement career. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like, because
You
I
want to
went
talk
through, I
cop?
was going through the past, like, okay, I see I got a t-shirt. Then I see her with a badge and she got a uniform on it. I'm like, hold on, what is this? Tell me about that path.
Okay, so we're gonna start because you said we got time. So
We got time.
I
We
got
got
time
time.
today.
We got time
So
for sure.
I was raised by my dad. I was raised by my father, mostly when I got to middle school and high school. My mom was definitely there, but I lived with my father. And so I remember this officer came. You know how the dare officers tell you don't do drugs? They come
Right.
in. So I remember this officer walked in, and I just was in awe. You know what I mean? Like, he looked official. He looked like he could save the day. And I lived with my father where I was around this man who was a protector. You know, my dad was a manly's man. And I felt protected. And I said, I want to do that. I want to protect people. When this officer came in, I said, this is how I could do that. Because in school, Charles, I used to get suspended for fighting.
Where you was at it.
Oh, I was about that life. And it
Okay.
wasn't even my fights. It was other people's fights. I don't like seeing other people get done wrong.
Okay.
So I'm going to jump in. If
For
I
sure.
see the underdog getting done wrong, what's good? They not by themselves. I don't know them, but you're not about to do this. What's good?
I'll rock with it.
Right. So I was in these fights. So my dad was like, we got to put your energy somewhere. You doing the most. You getting, you know. And so anyway, this cop came in. I said, that's it. I can get paid for fighting people that need to be fought. This what I should do, right?
Boy.
And I went there. I came to Georgia. I came to Atlanta. I went to the Atlanta Police Academy. I was the underdog. You know, you too cute. You should be something else. You should, you know what I mean? You probably should be a model, or you should be, that ain't it. That ain't in me.
Right.
You know, I'm ready to throw these hands. So yes, I graduated from there in what? I went there in 2010, and I was a police officer for 10 years. And I'm not gonna say I did love it, but I did not consult God in that career. So the 8 years that I was a cop, it was only by his grace that nothing crazy happened to me.
Right.
Because when we sign our lives up to do something and we don't ask God, is this what we supposed to do? We gonna feel out of order, out of place, out of You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
even on the outside, this was look like a great career. God called me out. So yes, so that's how I got into policing. I saw a lot.
I'm sure.
I saw a lot of death.
Mm.
Um, I saw a lot of pain. Um, our people, you know, because I was in
Mm.
Bankhead. So
Mm.
you in Georgia, so you
Mm-hmm.
know the difference between Buckhead and
For
Bankhead.
sure.
They
For
not the
sure.
same. Well, now maybe they are now, but um, I was in Bankhead, so Joseph E. Boone, that whole thing. I was there for 8 years, so I
Mm.
seen a lot. I seen a lot.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. So when you got to the tail end of that, when was that? When did you transition out of being in law enforcement?
Yes. So remember, I was telling you, God was that girl died in my
Yeah.
arms. So I was afraid, like most people, to leave my job.
Right.
Right? I was getting paid good money as a cop. I was making at least 80 something $1,000 a year. When they
Right.
say cops don't get paid, that's a lie. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean?
Yeah.
If your base salary, you might be at 50, but you can work overtime. Have you ever seen that cop at Publix just standing there?
Mm-hmm.
That cop getting paid $60 an hour. Don't be
Word.
right. And they be on their iPhone, and I was on Instagram and everything, as you see. But anyway, I didn't want to leave. It was stability for me. It was
Right.
paying my bills. It was I had an apartment downtown. I had a nice car, all of those things. So it took me a while to trust God, to say, to walk away from that.
I bet.
But what ended up happening is I got in a car accident, a
Mm-hmm.
head-on collision, and I was just like, okay, it's time, it's time for me to go.
Mm.
And I knew that was God speaking to me. I walked away from that, and I knew it was just time for me to go. So I left in 2018. I called my supervisor and said, I'm not coming back in. And she said, oh, you will report to work tonight. And I said, oh, I will not. And best sleep of my life that night. And just went on from there. Just went on, literally went on from there. I don't know if that did that answer the question?
No, that answered the question 100%. I mean,
Yes.
it seems like you've had, so you had the young lady pass away, and then you have the collision, and so these big events are speaking to you in different ways, and it's
Because
like,
I'm hard
okay,
headed. Yeah.
right, life, almost like, life isn't promised.
Mm-mm.
Things can happen at a split second, and it's pushing you more towards what you're supposed to be doing in your life. So you end up leaving, you call in, you say, hey, I'm done. You got, like you said, best sleep of your life. You move on. What do you do at that point in time? Is Love Billboard, is that at that point in time, is that you going in that direction right then, or were you still trying to kind of figure stuff out?
I knew Love Billboard was there because
Yeah.
God gave me the desire for a t-shirt business in 2017, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't launch till 2020.
Right.
So I
Okay.
knew that it was there, but I knew nothing about starting a business
Yeah.
or t-shirts. You
Wow.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? I knew like I could be creative and I could slap something on a t-shirt and put it out there. But I knew that if God is telling me to do something, I have to do it in excellence.
Mm.
It's worth it. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And this business and whatever he has me do, we God deserves us to do this in excellence.
Mm.
And what I see a lot of times is us as followers of Christ, when God gives us business ideas and business ventures, we
Mm.
so heavily on the spiritual side that we lack business principles.
Mm.
And this
That's
is why, yeah. And this is why it seems like the world is doing it better than us in business in general, because first off, we too deep.
mm-hmm.
Second, our stuff look like our auntie who worked at the receptionist counter at the church created our stuff.
Go
I'm just
tell
being
them.
honest. You know
Go
what I
tell
mean?
them.
Our business names be too deep. The Ark of the Covenant T-shirt, and people don't know what that means. You know what I mean? We not relatable. So, I had to take time and just say, okay, let me get these biblical principles and let me get these business principles, put these together and try to make something that is worthy of what God is calling me to do. And that's going to take time.
Hey, they out here talking about you telling the truth. Hey,
I mean,
that's a fact
that's your
though.
auntie at the church,
Hey,
but for real.
you
And
keeping it a buck. Go
but
ahead.
and that's what I've been seeing, because I'm like, hey, if the t-shirt business, You tell me, I've done my research and it says the t-shirt business is $1 billion, not 1 billion, but billions of dollars a year industry.
Right.
Who getting that money?
Right.
That belong to us.
Right.
Right?
Right.
That belongs to us. If we hearing from God, and I'm talking about kingdom business, if we hearing from God, God is speaking to us. Why is the world doing better than us than in that stuff? And it's because we got to learn how to do this stuff in excellence. God don't have no speech impediment. So he talking, we got hearing problems, right? So yes. So I had to realize that, and I know that's hard for maybe some people to hear, but I had to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, yes. I'm glad somebody said it. I'm just telling the truth.
Hey, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's big. That's big.
Right. Yeah.
So did you, so as far as like the business sense, correct? Because you said that, you ain't fully understand that, even that part yet. What did you do to kind of start preparing yourself? Did you get any mentors? Did you read any books? Like, what was your preparation of figuring out how to put all these pieces together?
Yeah, so I did my research. I knew that I wasn't going to just take something like I did in my old career and say, okay, you like to fight, you like to take up people, go to the academy. You know what I mean? I did not do my research in policing, because if I would have, I probably wouldn't have became a cop. So I had already not wasted, but I've already, went through a career like that for 8 years. So I didn't want to do the same thing this time. So I took my time and I got on that pad and that pen. Right. I watched hours of videos. I paid for people's courses. I invested in my business. I reached out to Justin with Support Black College. I reached out to Art of Homage. These people did not know me. I DM'd them and I said, hey, help. You know what I mean? The best way that you can. I'm going to buy your course. I'm going to take your course. I'm going to, take you to lunch. I'm going to buy your lunch. I put myself out there and I just took all those nuggets. And before I made a move, I wrote things down. I prayed on it. I studied. You know what I mean? And then I start moving. And then another key that I found is I knew my audience. I knew that Christians was not my audience.
Talk to me. Yeah, so talk to me. Because we get into this and, we're talking about Love Billboard and I hear the faith and all these different things, but you said that Christians wasn't your audience. So talk to me about that. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so when we put stuff out, we think, you ask somebody, who's your audience? And people say, well, men. And people say women. So I knew like that's too broad. So I be thinking, like, I watch stuff. So I watched this fishing show that's on Netflix. I think it's called Blackfish, or not Blackfish. It's called something, but it's a fishing show. And I seen that these people fishing and they're using a particular type of bait. They're using live minnow to catch a tuna fish. Okay, I'm gonna get to the point.
You good.
So I'm like, how is they in the whole ocean? These be my thoughts. I'm like, how is they in the whole ocean fishing and they only catching tuna fish? And then it hit me, they know what's on their hook. Know what tuna fish, they know that tuna loves this type. So I realized before I put out content, before I put out my website, I need to know who my audience is. I know I can't say Christians, because a lady that's 80 years old is not going to wear my orange hoodie that say, I don't know, ask Jesus. She not going to want to wear that. So I'm not marketing to her. I'm not creating for her. I need to know my customer as if it's one real individual person. I need to know where they shop. I need to know where they don't shop. I need to know what type of shoes they wear, because if that company come out with some orange sneakers, then I need to come out with an orange shirt to match that. You know what I mean? I need to know my customer, because there's a difference between brand and a niche. A brand is a
Go ahead and break that down, Miss Danielle. Go ahead and break that down, Love Billboard. Go ahead and talk to the audience.
Yeah, so I had to learn those things. So before I made moves with some of those things, I learned those things, and it was easier for me, and I didn't bump my head so much.
Oh, hey, I just gotta back up. I need everybody. I need the audience. You know what I'm saying? I just gotta reel back to what she said, because I always love a good story or metaphor in the teacher sense. And so you say they catching tuna, and you asking yourself, how is it that they in the sea and they got all this other fish, all type of stuff out here, but this is all they catching? And you said
Yes,
because it's what they had at the end of it's the bait. It's what they
the
had
bait.
on that hook.
It's
And
it's
that's what they drawing in. That junk is fire. Everybody need to rock with that, man.
yeah, no, for real. If you look on Netflix, it's a show. It's a
Oh,
fishing show, and these people make it because tuna fish is very expensive. They get in for each pound, they get in a lot of money, and I'm like, but it's so many fish in the ocean. How are they? They know what they know who they going after, and they know what they like. You know what I mean?
man.
And that's what we got to do in business. You
That's
know,
that's like the foundation. So do you,
that's period.
would it be safe to say you need before you create different t-shirt, before you get deep into your creation process, that's
Know who
where you
you
need to
talking
start
to.
first?
Know who you talking to.
No, you
it
talk.
it don't make no sense to put content, to make a t-shirt, to put all that, and you don't know who you talking to. You got, like, think of McDonald's. I'm driving down the street, I look up at a McDonald's sign. Everybody don't eat McDonald's, right?
Mm,
But I'm looking at a McDonald's sign. McDonald's is gonna make sure they have them drips coming off that Coke cup,
100.
right? Because it's summertime,
Right.
and they want you to get off on that exit. They know who they talking to. They talking to
Mm.
people that's thirsty, that's on the highway. They know that they can pull off right here and go to McDonald's. They strategic. We should be just as strategic as them, and if not more. We hearing from God Himself. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So
mm,
we gotta start thinking about that, right? So yeah, that's what I
mm.
say. Before you put out a T-shirt, before you put out a photo, before you put out content, know who you talking to. Know that everybody not your customer. Understand that your friends and your family is not your audience, and they not your customer.
Oh,
That'll hurt your feelings.
oh, oh no, but listen. I think look, I love this conversation. I'm glad that we can rap, Danielle, because
Yes, let's talk real.
yeah, no, I love this. So one thing that you pointed out, because I think this is something that a lot of people deal with. I've heard it over and over and over again. I want you to expound on something you just said.
Uh-huh.
So you said not everybody's your customer,
No.
even your family and friends,
Nope.
they not your customer. And see, I've heard a lot of the times there's a lot of people who get upset, they get offended if a family member doesn't purchase, people that they know don't purchase, they don't support, they don't repost, all these different things. But I'm of the belief, same as you, those people just are not your target audience. But there's so many other people out there in the world. So talk to me about that part too, and talk to the audience, because
Yes.
there are people who deal with that and they struggle with that and it upsets them. And I feel like
Yes.
it shouldn't.
Let's take that burden up off you right now.
There
Whoever's
you go.
watching this, let's lift that up. Let's use that energy for something else, for your
Wow.
business, to build your brand. Take that off of you. And I'm gonna break it down to you to make it so simple that you're gonna realize that you do the same thing.
Oh,
So I want you to think of your favorite food. Whoever watching this, I want you to think of your favorite food. Okay, you said soul food. So if you opened up a soul food restaurant, your friends and your family is gonna come to the launch,
yeah.
right? They not coming the next day.
Right.
They not coming the day after that,
Right.
and they not coming the day after that. They why? Because they don't want to eat soul food every single day, right?
Right.
The people that own McDonald's and Taco Bell, they don't eat that every day, and their family and friends don't feel bad about it. It's because they don't. That's not what they gonna do every single day. You
Right.
don't do that. I don't expect nobody, my friends and family, to wear Love Billboard every single day, right?
Right. Right.
So I need to have launch day for my business every day. Every day needs to
Mm-hmm.
be launch day to a new customer. If I'm
No.
not having new customers every day, I do not have a business.
Hey, I'm rocking with you,
And
man.
this is why Nike still uses paid ads. This is
Ooh,
why McDonald's still uses paid ads. This is why, this is why they still push out content, because they understand you have to have a new customer coming in there every single day. And with your friends and
mm,
your family, they love you, they support you, they care about you, but they not about to wear your stuff every day.
that's a fact.
And
Big fact.
we just gotta get over the fact, like, yeah, they support you, they love you, but I wouldn't say that I'm from the hood, but we hoodish.
Hey, you got some of them tendencies.
We got some of them tendencies. And so some of my family and friends that's around my age, they still, even though I talked to them about it, they still rocking the Gucci and the Fendi because that's what they like. I don't feel some type of way, you know what I mean, about
Right.
that. I don't expect them to wear I'm a better person when I put God first, or Jesus saved my life, or Jesus is Lord while they in the club.
Word.
I don't expect them to do that. You know what I mean? Maybe they're not there right now in their life. You know what I mean? So we got to come up out our feelings. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
We got to
Mm-hmm.
step up out our feelings and say, okay, but there is somebody, like you just said, there is somebody that's like, oh, they just put out that, Love Billboard. I just seen that for the first time today. And then the next day, I just seen that for the first time today. You
Right.
got to just keep that going.
Right. Right. And it's such a big world out there too, where you
Oh my
can keep it
gosh.
going. It
Oh
ain't
my
no
gosh.
running out.
It's no running out. And a lot of people also, they feel like, well, it's so many people who got a t-shirt company, and
Mm.
it don't, you know how many churches it is, and people still, you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
It's a place for you. It's a place for you, but you got to know your customer, right?
That's good. That's
Right.
good. That's good. That's good. Even that last part, everybody watching right now, the last thing Danielle talked about, people worry about
Right.
saturation all the
Yeah, that's the
time.
word.
And
Yep.
you ain't gotta worry about that. I hear the different examples all the time. How many different types of bread are in the bread aisle? You know what I'm saying? So like she said, there's room. You giving so much game, man. They love you. Hey, they loving you on here, Danielle.
Oh, thank you
They
so
they
much, y'all.
Right. They love you on here. Real quick, I want to get a big shout out to Mr. D Woods. Many blessings, sir, for supporting the show.
Thank
Mr. D
you.
Woods, he the truth, Danielle. He show up every live we got, he show up and he'll give definitions and all type of stuff. So shout out to you, Mr. D Woods. I appreciate you, fam.
Yes, I think I seen he put up something and he put 700 or something. I couldn't read it.
Yeah, he gave a fact. He didn't
He
Mr. D Woods be coming up with them facts for sure, for sure.
that's dope. That's loyalty right there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, all right. So I love that. I love that. A lot of good game. We ain't even got into the story for real.
Right.
You know what
We
I'm saying?
still going. We
Right,
here.
right. But okay, all right, bet. So that's like 2018. You end up leaving. You putting this thing together. This the other thing. I ain't even asked you about this. What's the importance of investing in yourself and investing in
Ooh.
mentorship? Obviously, it's gotten to where you've gotten, but there's other people as well who kind of have uh limiting beliefs or fear around investing in, and there's some of the reasons are valid, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about figuring out who are the mentors and the people that you can invest in. But tell me the importance of that and how it just helps speed up your track and what you was doing.
Yeah, no. So when I first started out, I was I had to ask myself a question. When I start Love Billboard, did I want this to be a full-time or a part-time thing for me? And
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes when we start our businesses, we don't think about that. You know what I mean? We
Mm,
don't think that it's because that changes the whole mindset. When I understood that it was going to be a full-time business, then I knew that I had to invest a lot heavier than I would invest if it was part-time. So if it was something part-time for me, I probably went to drop shipping. I probably would have went to, you know what I mean, a straight out to a local printer. But I knew that this was going to something for me to be full-time. So I know I needed to buy a heat press machine, right? I
okay.
know
Yep.
I needed that. I
Right.
know I needed, transfers. I know I needed those things. So, and I invested in a Cricut machine to make samples for myself because I seen that I was paying $16 to go to the mall to make this sample when I
Yep.
could just buy a Cricut machine and just make a sample, you know what I mean, and be in my own head
Right.
and make samples. So when you invest in yourself, it really shows you how important this thing is to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? It really tells you like, you got to go in this with it take money to make money. That's real. You know
That's
what
a
I mean?
fact. Fact.
It really is. It take money to make money, but you got to be smart and you got to be, like you said, you got to be smart. You got to be strategic about, what you doing. But also, I'll in the same breath, I'll say that lack, if you ever dealing with lack in your life, that should be a response of creativity, not to stop. So if you feeling like, man, I'm lacking in this area, I don't have this, immediately your creative wheel should start turning and say, well, how can I still get it done even though I don't have it? Because I didn't have a way to get my sample from I'm a better person when I put God first. So I said, do one of my girlfriends have a Cricut machine? And I went to her house.
Mm, mm.
I learned how to do her Cricut machine before I bought mine,
That's powerful.
right? And I stayed at her house all night, basically learning that machine. learning how to use it, learning how to do it. And then when I said, okay, I got this, I went to the store and I bought my own.
Mm,
Right.
mm,
So investing in
mm.
yourself is, it shows you really how serious you are. Like my courses, I do one-on-one courses with people. My courses is $75 for an hour. And I
Right.
heard people say, like, well, that's too much. Okay, well then that's too much for you. Maybe one day it won't be too much, but somebody is paying that,
That's
right?
a fact.
You know what I
Fact.
mean? And it shows how important that means to that person. And that's why I give everything I got to them calls.
I love it. I love it all the way
Yeah.
around. And look, we're gonna make sure we plug in website and all that different stuff. But
Yep.
listen, hey Danielle, man, she get one-on-one. So y'all need to
Oh
tap
yeah.
in for
Yeah.
real. Okay,
What do
okay.
you think? I want to know what you think as far as investing, and how do you feel about that,
Oh
investing
man,
yourself?
from the moment I jumped in this journey, I've been investing in myself. I mean, thousands and thousands of dollars, and it's
Yes,
come back. It's come back in
for
so many times. You know what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
See, this is the thing. Like, you know, I'm one to I teach. You know, I got courses and I got masterminds, and I've done all these different things. But there's no way that I could step in the position that I am to teach if I've never invested anything in myself. You know what I'm
Ooh,
saying? And
that's
that's why I'm
good.
so confident to do it and say, okay, and let me kind of reverse that a little bit. When I first started stepping into coaching, I wasn't as confident. It's something I've had to build over time, but I
Yeah.
knew that it was something I could do because I realized the results that I got from when I put money out and I put it on the line, and it was my last, right? And how it helped me be able to achieve something, right? And I just truly believe like a lot of the times when I felt stuck, it was just another person that helped me get unstuck. You feel
Oh
what I'm saying?
yes, yes.
It's always
That's so
been
good.
that. So I'm quick. I'm to the place, Danielle. I hear people talking about I spent 1 million, I spent 500,000 on my
Mm,
development for the year. I wish that's what I want to do. I want
right.
to get to the place to where I can spend a 500,000 for to get in front of some people that I really admire to help me take things to the next level. So I'm with it. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm all
No,
about it.
I feel the same way. And I look at people in relationships as hinges, like the
Hmm.
hinge of a door. It's
Right.
like hinges to get you to that next door, to get you that. And it's not being an opportunist. It's just you see that value in the other person, you invest, in that, or you invest in whatever it is to move forward. It's worth it for your business for sure.
Facts. That's 100. 100. I 100. Hey man, y'all
Wait,
better let.
a movie? It's a movie,
What's
and
up?
I hate. I don't know if I should say it. Lord, forgive me. I ain't gonna. Okay, it's movies out there. It's a movie out there. I ain't gonna say the name of the movie,
Uh-huh.
but this man had a magazine. It was a gentleman's magazine,
Right.
and it in that movie it shows how he was building his team and how before he made a dollar with that magazine, he invested heavily in them,
Right.
right? And he
Right.
built this team that got his magazine to the top of the top. So
Right.
yes, yes, investing. That's number one. That's number one.
100. 100. I love it. Y'all
Yes.
better make sure y'all picking up these gems, man. One last thing, before I move on to this last thing, because one stood out to me. Danielle, she said, when you feeling lack, that should like trigger creativity. You know what I'm saying?
Period.
That should
Period.
trigger something for you to be like, okay, how can I figure out how to make this happen to cover what is there? And I thought that was extremely powerful. So, all right, Miss Danielle, you go ahead, you invest, you do all this stuff. When you start selling your first T-shirt, how you get your what was your first T-shirt sale? When you get your first one off?
My first sale, so I did all that research like we said,
Yeah.
we talked before, and it was practical, business practical, but then I also fast, because I'm a woman of God. I fast and I prayed for a while, and I remember I was fasting and I was praying, and my fast was over. Now I don't like fasting. I
Right.
don't know the Christians watching this, they're gonna be like, oh, the Lord gonna get you. No, the Lord know my heart. I like to eat,
Right.
right? So I did not like fasting, but it was good, right? God was giving me revelation. God was giving me things. And I remember when the fast was over and God said, go for another 40 days.
Right.
And I was like,
Woo.
no.
Woo.
I was like, that ain't the Lord. That's the devil trying to kill me. You know what I
Uh,
mean? But it wasn't just off strictly food. So anyway, I fasted again and God was giving me that revelation. And then finally God was like, okay, go. now. Like now is go time. And I remember I posted that first picture, right?
Right.
I had took that picture on my iPhone, right? That first picture. I did the website, I did everything. I posted it on social media. I woke up the next morning and I would like to tell you that we was completely sold out, but I didn't have no inventory. I
Right.
used the customers' money once they paid, and I went and bought my inventory. But we had over 100, almost 200 sales,
I love it. I love
and
it.
I knew we had something right there.
So let's I gotta pause on that. So when you posted, who did you post to? Was this you're following on your personal page? Where'd you post this picture at?
I posted on my personal page. So I had a Love Billboard page, but that page was just like brand new. I probably had 10 followers on that page. My personal page, I had a, pretty decent following.
Right.
So I posted right there. I really didn't understand paid ads at the time.
Right.
So I posted right there and we took off from there.
Word. So how did it feel to hear them, shop? You was on Shopify at the time?
So I was on Wix.
Oh, word. Okay.
That should show you how much I didn't know,
Right.
Exactly what I was doing, because Wix is e-commerce, you know what I mean?
Right.
But at the time, I'm like, okay, I just need a website. Wix got some cute stuff, so let me get, at the time I was on Wix. Yep.
Word. Well, I love it. I love, what I'm saying. In the picture, real quick, was the picture of you wearing the shirt? Was it the shirt by itself? Talk to me about that.
The picture was me. So I knew this is so carnal, but this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is knowing your audience. I knew that on my Instagram page, the most views that I got from my page were selfies, right? Okay. I see, like when I post a selfie, I get a lot more response than I post anything else. So I posted a up close selfie with the t-shirt, and it really went off from there.
Hey, so that's real big. And I love that you mentioned that. I think that's a pure gem for everybody watching. You post a lot of things organically on your page.
Yeah.
And you were paying attention to the insights. You're paying attention to the data.
For sure.
And a lot of the times that data is just pure gold sitting there if you can understand how to dig through it, whether it's on your Instagram, ads, on your store. There's a lot of information that can guide your decisions and lead you to success if you pay attention. So I think everybody watching this, listen to what she said. Danielle said she gets the most engagement off of selfies. Maybe after this, you need to go into your insights and start paying attention to what people are doing the most. It's funny, Danielle. I put a post. I test a lot of quotes and a lot of wording on my stuff on Instagram, and there was one little post that I had a lot of words that did really well just last week. Did super good. Got a lot of likes on it and everything. Once I saw that, the next day I pulled out my phone. I did an ad saying those same exact words. And that ad been going crazy over the last week. You know what I'm saying? So I love, just what you talked about there. I think that's gold. That's gold.
And that came to me. That it's a story behind that, because I would rather post words than I would post my face. Right? Because I remember when I was posting pictures of me as a cop, and people was really trying to when I was posting myself as a cop, people was not doing that at the time. Right. This was 2018. Now everybody's cop bae. Well, not with the climate right now, but I like to say I was the original cop bae, right? I was the only one posting. I got written up for posting in uniform, for showing that I was APD officer. Officers was mad at me, like, why are you putting us out there like that? It was crazy. Right. And then people was trying to turn me into cop bae. Radio stations in Atlanta was trying to talk to me, and God was telling me, don't say nothing, because I'm calling you out of this profession anyway. Wow. And what's going to happen is, so you look at some people, let's say Gorilla Glue Girl. So now she always got to talk about Gorilla Glue in order to be relevant, because that's where everybody know her from. So people will put you in this box. God knew that, so he was just like, look, stop with the whole cop, whatever. But to get to what we talking about, being strategic about that, I had an issue with, I'm like, man, I want people to know me for what I'm saying, not what I look like. Right. I felt a certain way about that. And I started preaching. I was preaching at one point and at a church, and like the pastor would say, like, I would wear certain things because I've heard a lot of things like, yeah, Danielle, you may be a distraction to people. Da, 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 da. So I had some insecurities. I'm saying all that to say I had some insecurities about the way that I looked, right? I had some insecurities about the way that I looked. So me posting a selfie to promote my t-shirt kind of hurt my feelings, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, dang, like I don't want people to be like, oh, it's just her face. And you know what I mean?
Right.
But this is what God said. This is the gem that God dropped on me.
For
He
sure.
said, I use everything, Danielle. I didn't make a mistake on how you look. I didn't
Wow.
make a mistake on that. So what you can do is you will track them with their eyes, and then
Wow.
when you open your mouth, you will catch them with your mouth. You will catch
Right.
them, you'll catch their heart with what you have to say. And I said,
Wow.
okay, we going. We
Wow.
going with it. You know what I mean? We're gonna use that. So yes. And then to go from what you're saying, taking a look at my insights, taking a look at my analytics. And what was crazy, the reason why my selfies was doing so much is because 50 to 60% of my followers were men.
Mm. Mm.
And I was just like, that's weird. I'm all about women. I'm all about, my sisters. Why don't I have women followers? What's happening? Where the ladies at?
Right.
So then I was able to balance that out. Now on my site, it's literally 50-50, like
Word.
50% men, and not just me being intentional and working with that. So yes, paying attention to your insights.
Good.
I'll say one last thing about that.
For sure.
It's a t-shirt company that I was coaching, and they were just putting stuff up, right? So they had their t-shirts, they'd take a picture of their t-shirt, then the husband and wife would take a picture together. And I told them, I said, have you noticed that you guys get more engagement when you post couple? So maybe y'all t-shirt should be about married couples.
Wow.
And so yes, it's very, you got to pay attention to that stuff for sure.
That's good. That's good. That is
Yes.
good, gang. So let's talk about these 200 some orders that came in. How you was feeling when that happened?
Overwhelmed, right? You,
Yeah.
I never wanted to be the person to regret what I prayed for. Never wanted to be the person to say you prayed for something and like, God, why? Um, so when those orders came in, I knew like it was just confirmation that God was speaking to me, right? Like, okay, he really is talking to me. And I just went to work. I ordered the shirts. I had already, like I said, did the research and reached out to people. So I knew what vendors that I was going to use. I already knew what type of t-shirt that I wanted to use. I went ahead and ordered those. Did I have a heat press? I did not have a heat press at the time. So I had to go to a local printer to print out some t-shirts, and I had to cut this little deal with him because he was a new printer. And I said, hey, I'll put you on my Instagram if you print these t-shirts for me. And we did that with each other back and forth until I can afford to get my own press.
Word. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yep.
So how long? So when you did that pre-order,
Yeah, pretty much pre-order. Yep.
how long did you let your customer know? Like how long it was going to take to fulfill and ship out?
So what worked in my favor is the pandemic.
Word.
Because UPS was already backed up with, and they
Yeah.
still, I mean, USPS
Right.
and UPS and all these companies,
Everybody.
everybody backed up. So it was easy for me to put 7 to 14 days.
That's good.
Yep.
That's
So
good.
again, going back to being creative, I knew like, okay, there's no reason for me to try to offer next day. There's no
Right.
reason for me to try to offer 3 day.
Right.
Everybody's backed up anyway, even though I'm not going to take 14 days to do
Right.
it. That's what we're going to put up, so I was able to use the pandemic situation in order to give myself time.
Right, right. And I think that's good. I think that's gold, right? And I think just that whole business water, the way that you started, you did the pre-order. I mean, I think that's a great way to do it because you're not investing time and I gotta get all these things first. You gotta outlay the capital.
You
Is
got all
this
this
t-shirt,
inventory
if I
that you
buy all
look.
this stuff up front, are people gonna buy it? I love it. And then you giving yourself some time. And I think people can do that as long as they just set the expectations up front and let
Yes.
customers know what it's going to be and just fulfill on it. I think is perfectly fine.
Yes, for sure. The whole inventory piece is, was a major key for me because
Right.
I didn't have 500 t-shirts sitting there just looking at them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
trying to figure out how I'm going to get rid of them.
Right,
I
right.
used
No,
the customers' money to buy their t-shirts, right? And
that's
I did
good.
that until I couldn't do that anymore.
So was all that t-shirt that you got on right now? That was it that one or did you have something else?
It was this one.
Yeah.
I did my research and I found that black t-shirts are the number one t-shirts that people get.
Right,
So I had to like take myself and what I like out of it
right,
because I love white. I love a white t-shirt, a crispy white t-shirt.
word.
I love a orange t-shirt. I love that, but I knew like no, this is not for me. This is not going in my closet. I need to know what works. And I knew a black t-shirt, a black and white t-shirt, that's what people go to. So it was this black t-shirt and it was a white one, and we did that and for about 6 months straight because I
Right.
wanted to now though I had all of these ideas and other designs in my head,
Yeah.
I knew I needed to solidify this very first t-shirt before I put anything else out.
Oh wait, so hold on. So that shirt that you had, maybe you had it black and white, but you stuck with that for about 6 months?
We roll with it. It was hard. You know what I mean? As a creative, as a designer, as all that, it's hard when you got all these ideas. You just want to throw it out there, throw it out there. You know what I mean? But I knew no, I needed to create brand identity off top. So I need y'all to feel this until you ain't feeling no more. If you already bought both of them, then buy your cousin another one, buy your auntie another one, and then that built up anticipation for my next drop because
Right,
people was like, finally, she got a green one now.
right.
Okay, and then a couple months later, or maybe a year later, okay, she got an orange one now. But then when people come to Love Billboard, I wanted them to know and see because other t-shirt companies have done that I researched. They kept it the same, right?
Yep, yep.
And you can have all of these different type of t-shirts, but nobody knows who you are. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
So I knew I had to do that. I knew
Yo, I just think t-shirt millionaires, listen. What Danielle's talking about should be straight confirmation, right?
mm,
So Danielle, I
mhm.
try to get the best people on here. That's why you on here today, man. I
Thank
try to
you.
get people who have done great things and have this wisdom. And so one thing that I've learned, what you just said, one t-shirt has pretty much changed the game for so many of my guests. This bracelet, I'm gonna have to send you one of these bracelets, but this
Okay.
bracelet I have, it says you're only one t-shirt away. It's a spin off of Russell Brunson. I don't know
It's
if you're familiar with
facts.
Flip Funnel. They say one funnel away, you one t-shirt away. And you one t-shirt, you rock with that for 6 months, and
Six
it
months.
absolutely put you in the game, gave you momentum, got people to buy into your brand identity, all these things that you're talking about. And
Yep.
so everybody out in the audience who is struggling, listen to what Danielle talked about. Go back and listen to some of these guests. This is wisdom. You ain't gotta rack your mind over 50 different designs. You know what I'm saying? And
Nope.
like you said, it was difficult for you because you're a
Very
creative,
hard. Very
right? You're a
hard.
creative. You probably wanted to throw something else out there, but you
Every
just
week.
stayed disciplined to the plan.
Yep. Every week, and like God will speak to me in my sleep and he'll give me these different things. Like the I don't know, ask Jesus. I wanted to put that out so bad. I
Mm,
didn't put that out until we launched in 2020. I don't know, ask Jesus didn't come out until I think December. So almost a year that we put out. I don't know, ask Jesus. And
mm,
I'm going to continue to because that took us to the next level, right?
right.
So I'm a better person, got us rolling. I don't know, ask Jesus is we still hitting. And then my third one is God is still working on me. That one. And we gonna sit right there. We gonna stay right there till everybody know who Love Billboard is.
I rock with it. I rock with it. I rock with
Yep.
it. I love the name, by the way. The name
Thank you.
is
Thank
fire. I
you.
love it. I think it's
Thank
dope.
you. I appreciate it.
Um, okay. So you said three, four designs? Four designs is where you at
Yeah.
right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've had other designs, but I had to pull back.
You had to pull back,
I had to
right?
take them off the site. I had to pull back. I realized at one point I said I got too much stuff going on here,
Right.
and that
Right.
was difficult too. You
Right.
got to be willing to pivot. You got to be willing to humble yourself at times and say, you know what? What's working? What's not working? Whatever is not working, let's pull back on it. Whatever is working, let's double down on that.
That's fire. That's good. How'd you grow your audience over time, Danielle? So, obviously you started with an organic approach.
Mm-hmm.
You utilize and you leveraged your personal audience.
Mm-hmm.
But over those even 6 months, what were the things that you were doing to get your brand in front of other eyeballs?
Okay, so I wish that I can tell you I had a plan on how to do that, but I really am just it's really been organic, and really it's been about connection for me more than
Mm,
anything else.
mm,
So every post that I do is really just about connecting every single time. The biggest thing is just creating a community
mm,
where people know me, they know who I am, they know the real me, they know, you know what I mean? And they know my heart, they know what I'm trying to do. So
mm,
creating that community is how I build my audience, because people will just refer you and say, "Hey, do you know who this person is?" And just being real, just being honest, being real, being authentic. It's simple. You know what I mean? It really is simple. Not trying to do the again when we talk, I think me and you talked about this privately, but not trying to just do the perfect um aesthetic and
mm-hmm,
all my colors look the same and all
mm-hmm,
my, like, that works for some people.
mm-hmm.
But I knew for me, and my brand and my niche and the people who love Billboard and me, we just like the just the authenticity, you know what I mean?
Mm,
We just like,
mm.
I knew my customer just like authenticity. So if I wake up in the morning and I say, "Hey, like, this is what we're gonna talk about today," we talk about this, and just being authentic, staying consistent.
Can we talk about that a little further?
For sure. Consistency is key for real.
So you said two things: authenticity and consistency. These Y's at the end. Um, so I love how you talked about it was about getting in front of your audience, letting them buy into you, letting them know who
Yes.
you are. Like, I think that is so powerful. You know what I'm saying? It's like the heartbeat of the brand. It's what, you know what I'm saying, make the brand come alive. And I think that, a lot of people kind of struggle with that, right? Of
Yeah.
of showing up and
Mhm.
presenting themselves and giving that encouragement and doing video.
Yeah.
What are some of those tactics, right? Because I hear you say you show up and you're being
Yeah.
authentic, but in what ways, Danielle? How are you posting? What type of post are you doing to
Mhm.
to come across to get people to know and buy into you?
So it's a book called The Leadership of Christ. I think it's called The Leadership of Christ.
Uh-huh.
The Leadership Lessons of Christ is what the book is called.
Right.
And I wanted to learn from the greatest leader of all time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is Jesus for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that Jesus gave his heart before he asked for people's hand.
Mm.
So I said, you know what? I'm gonna give myself before I ask people. So when I put out my t-shirt, people was ready to buy whatever I had to sell. I could have
Mm.
sold water bottles. I could sell, like, even now, I pretty much, I know that I can sell anything and people are gonna buy because they know me, they trust me, you know what I mean? And I've proven myself and I've been authentic. So before you ask somebody for their hand, you give your heart. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So that's what I did. I stay authentic to who I am. Like, the days are over where, it has to be some type of connection. We're living in an information generation. So people know a lot, right? And
Mm-hmm.
people nowadays, thank God, we living in a time where people can see through the fake
Mm-hmm.
real quick. People can
Mm-hmm.
tell, like, you're not a real person. I say that all
Right.
the time. Like, I promise I can meet somebody and be like, that's not really who they are. I don't know if that's my discernment and my gift of discernment, or
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is, but you can meet somebody and be like, that's not the real you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. I just stayed true to who I am. And yes, you're right. People struggle with that,
Mm-hmm.
especially coming off on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Your testimony, your particular testimony, or even starting your business or who you are as a person, that is going to connect with people, because
Mm.
everybody's story is unique, but everybody's story is relatable in some type of way. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, my dad had a drug problem. I know it's people out there who parents had a drug problem. You know what
Mm.
I mean? So I talk about it. I had problems with alcohol, you know what I mean, in my life. I know that somebody out there has struggles with alcohol, and so
Mm.
I talk about it. It don't have to be as uh, you know, abortion. I've talked about that. It don't have to be as much as, or as deep as I do. But you find that thing about yourself that will connect with other people and say, I'm going to share this. And I'm telling you, people will people will gravitate to you and they will sell whatever it is that you buy.
Yo,
I
yo,
mean, they'll buy
yo,
whatever
buy whatever you
you
say. You know, I
sell.
got you. We sticking with you. Hey, that's so good. That's so good. I mean, number one, this thing that you just said, give your heart before you ask for their hand.
That's right.
Come on, man. That right there is just that's worth it.
Jesus did it. I read that book and I seen how Jesus will walk up to people and ask, "Do you want to be healed?" So he
Mm,
would give healing before he would ask that person to follow him as a believer, right?
right,
So he would ask, "Do you want to be healed?" So he would take care of the woman with the issue of blood. He dried up her issue before she, you know what I mean, really came to follow him. So
right,
Jesus gave, and then God so loved the world, he what? Gave.
you're right.
God so
Gave
loved
his
the world,
only begotten
he
son.
gave his only begotten son, and that's why we follow. That's why we love, because what the word said, he first loved us. So
Hmm.
once we start doing these biblical principles, and we start that all people are different, right?
Right,
But the heart is the same,
right,
right? The heart, the condition of the heart for all of us is literally the same. So if you start operating and doing things within your business that gets to the heart and
right,
not in a deceitful way, right?
right,
You
right,
never want to do that. I never had to worry about looking over my shoulder because I always knew I was doing the right thing.
right.
When you do the right thing, you ain't never got to look over your shoulder. And it is some shisty people who know these principles and they use it in a negative way, but that stuff ain't going to last. No matter how big they are right now, no matter how big they platform, but if they lying, they shady, it ain't gonna last, and they not gonna be happy. You know what I mean?
Am I still there?
Yep, you still there.
Did I freeze?
You froze a little bit.
Okay, we back. All
We back.
right, we back. We back.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. You was in the middle of a thought. I don't know if I.
Oh, well, I was saying that being authentic, and I said if you may have people out there that's not authentic, and sometimes we look at them and be like, man, but people that are not authentic, people that's not doing the right thing, that stuff don't last. You know what I
Right.
mean? It don't last for them. They not happy. So just keep doing the right thing. If you're doing the right thing, you never gotta look over your shoulder.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that's great. And then I think one thing that you just mentioned about standing out, you talked about your story and you personally talked about, deep parts of your story,
For
alcohol,
sure.
whatever it is, right? And it can be scary to share some of those things. You know what I'm saying? Even me personally, I know that there's certain parts of my life, I'll be like, man, well, once I get over that part, then I'll go ahead and I'll put it out and I share. But one thing that I know for certain is your story is meant to help other people. It's meant to inspire
Yes.
people. It's your words can heal and bring clarity and give illumination to help somebody continue walking in their path. And so sometimes I feel like one thing that I tell people is like, sometimes when we think about, oh, what are they gonna think about me? I think that can sometimes be wrapped up in a little bit of selfishness, not intentional,
Mm. Yes.
but it's like it can be wrapped up in selfishness because our story is meant to help other people and it can set people free and just give them light. So I just love and I can respect and say I appreciate you for being bold and saying, I mean, you came on here, you said, hey man, I'm a hot mess, you know what I'm saying? Like
Hot
these
mess.
are that, like, and I can respect that so much. And I think people, that's a big reason, Danielle, why people
Hmm.
accept you and they buy into what you got going on. So big
I
salute to that.
appreciate it. And I learned a long time ago. In order, you said something. You said that when you share it, you want to get over it before you actually share it. But it's in the sharing that you get over it. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
it's
Wow.
inside of the
Ooh.
sharing that you actually are able to get over it. Because, and this is why the enemy doesn't want you to share it. This is why the enemy wants us to keep our mouths closed. He wants us to keep silent because he says we overcome by the word of our testimony. That's what the word of God says. He says we overcome by the word of our testimony. So once you start speaking, the devil has no more power over that thing. So when I had an abortion in my life, the devil had me, you know what I mean, quiet. He had me insecure. He had me with guilt and shame and all these things to talk about. But once I start talking about it, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna get up on this stage, I'm gonna talk about when I had an abortion. And God said, now what's one person that could stand up and point the finger at you for having an abortion? Nobody couldn't.
Right. Right.
Anything that you go through in your life, nobody. And then look at the woman, look at the woman in the Bible where she got caught having sex, or she got caught doing, I can't think of it right now, but the woman, she got caught, and they said, he said, cast the first stone, you without sin. That's
Mm.
still a fact today.
Mm. Mm.
Nobody can throw a stone at nobody. And once I realized, these people in the word of God says, what can mere mortals do to you? The only
Mm-hmm.
thing you can do is talk about me, right?
Mm.
So, and that any publicity is good publicity. And if I'm keeping this stuff quiet, it's offensive to the blood. It's offensive to the blood that already dripped from the cross for all my sins, past, present, and future. So I'm gonna talk about it.
I love it. So much good game, so much wisdom, Danielle. So much. This
Appreciate
is
it. It's all him, man. It's all
oh
it's all
man.
God. I told you I'm a hot mess. So literally, it's God. It ain't got
Yo,
nothing to
this
do with
is
me.
hey, well, all praise. That's it's good. Real quick, S. Perry. Many blessings to you. Jesus gave his heart before he asked for people's hands.
He sure did.
Absolutely. And then we also got Smooth and Chunky. I needed to hear this. Danielle was put in front of us today to move us. And
Oh
I
wow.
absolutely agree with you. Absolutely agree.
Wow.
These words coming off powerful. Okay.
Good.
Good. We having a life conversation, a t-shirt
T-shirt, right,
conversation, all
right.
in one.
It's all mixed up. It all works together.
Word. Okay. All right, bet. So all right, Danielle. I don't even know where to go next. Tell me so when did you start running? I heard you talk about ads. You run ads? You run ads for your
Yes.
store?
So I run Facebook ads. I did the dreaded Instagram boost
Yeah.
for a while. I learned my lesson with that. No shade to that, because that got us off the ground for a little bit.
Right.
But I realized, okay, now you have to really, really invest in the Facebook ads and do that. So I took a course. I found a course.
Mm-hmm.
I took that course. It was the I think Art of Homage had a course at the time.
Uh-huh.
Took that course, invested in myself, like we were talking about, learned how to do it myself,
Mm-hmm.
and just been rocking and going off that. And literally, that's just a trial and error. I don't know if you use it, but that's like a trial and error. One day they popping, they going, and the next day ain't nothing moving. So you gotta, you know what I mean? So yes, I definitely run ads because I know I gotta get in front of new faces every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, so with your ads, I know, like you said, it's an iterative process, right? It's about testing stuff out, trying stuff, reading the numbers. Some an ad or a campaign that may have been successful for you.
Yeah.
Kind of tell us about that. Like if there's a campaign that you can think of, maybe something that's even going now. What type of picture, video? Kind of just give me the gist of were you doing a sale? Talk to me about just kind of like some of the insights on that ad.
Yeah, so I wasn't doing any sales. What I did is seeing what was working, going back to my analytics,
Mm-hmm.
going back to what customers were responding to, and seeing what was working. Then
Mm-hmm.
I use that for my ad. So
Mm-hmm.
before I just put an ad out there, I made sure that that was already working for me organically.
Right.
If it was working for me organically, then I went ahead and invested and put money behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did is I made sure that that ad that I was running did not have a face or person to it, right? Because I
Uh,
wanted to reach everybody.
uh-huh.
So, well, I wanted to reach a larger audience in my brand. So I made sure it was just focused on the t-shirt itself. So the ad that does really good for me is just a clear picture of just the wording, because that's really what my shirts are about.
Right.
Um, what's written on it are these bold statements. So I use that wording, I put that out, start running the ad. We were doing good. We were hitting some good days.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. No, I love that. I love that. And I think, it's powerful. I think you gave us a few things. Number one, like you said, you started out with Boost to help you get off the ground, but
It did,
you
yeah.
learned some better things later on, right? And I think that goes for everybody that is watching that may not be as experienced in ads. The Boost will get you a lot of clicks. It'll get you likes. It might get you some sales even at some points in time.
Right.
But it's a more effective way to do it, and so that's really cool to see that you moved over into that lane as well.
And I knew
I
that I
want to
couldn't
go.
just spend really quick. I knew I just
Yeah.
couldn't spend the $5. You know how people say just
Mm,
put the little $5 on there?
right.
I knew that there was a certain range that I wanted to kind of be at. So I tested it at that range. And
Right.
when that range was working for me, then
Yeah.
I would increase it or decrease it. So I just had to be willing to listen. And I'm gonna tell you what album really worked for me.
Yeah.
And I know, that Nipsey Hustle Victory Lap,
Word.
that'll get your business where it need to be.
For
You know what
sure.
I mean? It'll get you motivation of where you need to be, where it talks about risk and it talks about,
Mm,
taking those risks and not being afraid of those things.
mm.
Because you could sit there afraid for a week, but guess what? That week gonna go by whether you do something or not. You might as
Wow.
well do it.
Wow. Wow. That's fire. I love that because and that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, when you take a budget, like you say, you spending that $5, and then you might go to $50,
Right,
$100 a day.
right,
And some people, you get, it's kind of scary of making that jump and saying, okay, what if I put this out there and it don't come back? You know what I'm
right.
saying? And so
But what if it
I
do?
like what you talked about, risk. That's a part of the game.
It's a
But
part of it.
risk brings reward.
It does. We do it
Mm,
when we fall in love. We do it when we meet somebody. We
mm,
doing it all the really you taking it. You do it every time you get into your car. You taking
mm.
a big risk when you drive to the grocery store. So
Right.
you might as well take this risk on 100. You know what I mean?
For sure. For
You
sure.
we
For
scared
sure.
to spend 100, but we jump in a car every day, and that's the number one. Reason people pass it. Nah, go ahead, spend that
100.
100, spend that. You know what I mean? Spend that 20, spend that 30.
100.
Because like you said, what if it don't work? But what if it do?
But if
And
it
then
do,
guess what? If it don't work, then that was just a $20 lesson you just learned,
a lesson, a
right?
lesson, a lesson.
You just paid for a lesson, right?
That's
You
and
just
that's and
paid.
that's powerful right there, Danielle. That's big. And I think everybody needs to make sure y'all catch that gem that Danielle just dropped. It's insight.
It's
You pay for
inside.
data, Danielle. You pay for data.
That's right.
You
That's
invested in data.
that's right. That's right.
Oh, that's good. This is all good. Miss Jamila, what going on? Wow, this was so needed. Many blessings, Jamila. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. We appreciate Danielle, man. She dropping all the gems today. This is amazing. So Danielle, I wanted to go over here and hit your website up real quick. I wanted to
Okay.
bring this up. One thing that I really
Here we
love
at.
about you, huh?
I said, here we go.
Here we go. Here we go. So the thing that I tell you I love about your brand, and I was telling my wife about this.
Uh-huh.
I love just the simplicity, the sleek, not too much going on, clear and to the point, easy to read fonts. I like that about your brand. You could have took this in so many different directions, but it seems I'm seeing the same font. I'm seeing,
Mm-hmm.
the same type of placements. What inspired you to kind of even go in this like minimum? I think the style maybe I'm looking for is minimalist.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
made you go in this direction?
yeah. Thank you for saying that because that's really the intention behind it. What's so crazy is so I'm a fan of Basquiat,
Mm-hmm.
the artist Basquiat, black
Mm-hmm.
artist from New York.
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z is really talking about him right now and all of that. But what I did in researching Basquiat is that he had muses that he would use for his art,
Mm-hmm.
and he had people that would inspire him for his art. And I had to look and say, why am I going to start from just scratch? Who inspires me for what I want to put out? And I know this sounds crazy, but Nike really inspires me for a lot of stuff and how I design my website. If
Mm.
somebody went on Nike's page and went on my page, they wouldn't tell. But if now that I'm telling you and we looking at it,
Mm-hmm.
Nike has bright colors, Nike has clear colors, Nike uses a lot of the same font. It's very crisp, it's very sharp. You know what I mean? And those were the things that I like. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of me racking my brain of trying to find and try to do, I looked at Nike and I gained inspiration from that. And I went. That's where I went.
Mm. I
So
love it. I
and I
love
knew
it.
I knew my customer again. What we were talking about, I knew the type of customer, the Love Billboard customer. I knew the type of person this was. I knew what they liked. I knew that they liked color. I knew that they liked sharpness. I knew that they liked clean things. So when they came to my website, they felt comfortable and familiar.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, it's just, it stands out and it's just clear. I love it. Even down to the logo, right? Did you ever think about, oh, I'm gonna create like this just different type of logo? You was like, no, I'm going straight. Just let me keep this text love billboard.
I'm in the logo. I ended up getting a tattoo of the logo.
I
So
see,
simple.
yeah.
Um, I wanted to keep that simple because I wanted it to really just speak for itself. I
Yeah.
want the logo. And also, what we talked about earlier, as being a Christian and a follower of Christ, we can get so deep. I remember I was talking to this one company and their logo was like a chariot. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking like, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, everybody not gonna understand what this chariot is. Just keep it plain. And then I also looked at the leadership's, ways of Jesus. And in the scriptures, Jesus had these things called parables,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he would use these really plain examples to get across his message. They
Mm-hmm.
would be deep messages, but he would use these really plain examples. And that's all I do. Keep it simple, keep it plain.
I love it. I love it. Quiet pay or afterpay, rather. You got a lot of people
Afterpay.
buy through afterpay.
I sure do. Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So talk to me about this real quick, Danielle. I come down here to the bottom of your website.
Uh-huh.
Or actually, let me go back one and let me scroll down here to the bottom. I scroll to the bottom and I see that it
Yes.
looks like you are an author. What is this about?
I
God locked out. Talk to me. Talk to
I
me. What's
am.
going on right here?
You know what? I hope my boyfriend is not watching this because he has told me to take the book off my site. And he told me to create a website, which I did on Gumroad. That was just my book. So I hope he's not watching this right now to see, because you just called me out. But anyway,
I put you on Front Street
you
and
did.
live.
You did. But the book is on there. So yes, I wrote the book called God Locked Out because that's how I lived my life. I had God locked out of every area of my life. As a wife, I'm divorced. So as a wife, as a daughter, as a sister, as a employee, me being a police officer,
Mhm,
every area of my life I had God locked out, right?
mhm.
And I wanted to write a book about what that looks like and what that feels like, so people can look at their lives and say, okay, do I have God locked out in this area of my life? So that's what that book is about.
That's fire. How long did it take you to write the book?
Oh Lord, it took me a
I,
long time.
I hear the anxiety come from
Oh,
that.
it took me a couple years actually to write the book, because first I have dyslexia.
Hmm.
And that's a learning, dyslexia is a learning disability. You have trouble actually
Right.
reading and writing. So God's telling me to write a book, and I'm like, Lord, I have trouble reading and writing, so how am I going to write a book?
Right.
But when God gives you something, he will equip you to do whatever that thing is. Um, and it also took me time to write the book because it was some very deep stuff that I talk about. I talk about my dad's drug addiction. I
Hmm.
talk about my abortion. I talk about divorce, me cheating on my husband, which
Hmm.
caused a divorce. I was the cheater. I was the one who stepped out. And I
Hmm.
talk about how easy it is to be married and cheat,
Hmm.
how
Hmm.
super easy, how it starts out with a lunch date with an old friend.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And then now y'all at the hotel room because you feel like this person don't understand you. You know what I
Right.
mean? Listen, I talked about all of that because I had God locked out in them areas of my life. So it took a while because, like you said earlier, I was working on being able to share it, and that's why I told you it was through the sharing that I was able to get free from that.
I respect it so much, Danielle. I
Appreciate it.
respect you. I respect you
Appreciate it.
100%. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think that this is just, the transparency. I respect it so much. And like you said, this is something that help people. I got a question for you. I was watching one of your videos on your Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was you were in the kitchen. I think you were in the kitchen. I think you
Okay.
were pressing, and I think somebody was recording you, asked you a question, and you said something about your brand. One of the things, the reasons you like it is because something to the sense of testimonies. There's
Yes.
testimonies that come from it. Talk to me about some of these testimonies that come back from maybe your customers.
Yeah, so that's what it's all about. I
Mm-hmm.
get testimonies from customers saying that they had the t-shirt on, somebody will read the t-shirt, and it would open up conversation about God. It will
Mm-hmm.
open up a conversation about their relationship with God. And
Right.
for me, that means more than any dollar amount that I would ever make, because that's fruit that's being. So in the Bible, it talks about, Jesus said he goes up and he builds many mansions for us, right?
Right.
So we have mansions, we have things to look forward to. We have a heavenly bank account that we need to be investing in on this earth.
Right.
This earth is just, you know what I mean? This is not our utopia. And
Right.
people are struggling right now because they're trying to make a utopia on a place that not cannot hold. You know what I mean? It can't. You will never be fulfilled here on this earth. I hate to say it like that
Right.
because we're
Right.
not supposed to stay here. We aliens just passing through.
Word.
So anyway, I know that yes, I invest in worldly things, right? Buying a house and doing those things, but there is an assignment that's attached to my life that I want to invest. So when I get to heaven, I can hear good and faithful servant, well done. And
Right.
I know that every t-shirt that goes out, it is connected with somebody. I want one of my t-shirts says Jesus is Lord.
Right.
I didn't just put that up there because that looked cool. You know what I mean? It does look cool, but I think about the atheists
Yeah.
who is walking down the street and looking at somebody's t-shirt, and because the word says that every tongue will confess,
Right.
right, that Jesus is Lord. So I think about the atheist that's walking down the street that says Jesus is Lord in their mind, and they go home and they think about it.
Mm.
They never even said nothing to the person who had the t-shirt on,
Right.
but they said in
Ooh.
their mind, in their heart, Jesus is Lord. And it may not come out their tongue yet, but they went home and they thought about it. That's seeds being planted.
Word.
And
100.
the Lord already showed me that I will never see the full fruit of, what I'm doing here on earth, and it will take me getting to heaven and see.
Wow.
That's why I ain't worried about going viral.
Wow.
That's why I ain't worried about, you know what I mean, being this whatever. I ain't worried about it. I know that I'm already getting success. Is I can't see the success that really matters. I may not ever see that, not here on this earth. But as
Wow.
long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, a matter of time, you're gonna stand in front of Jesus. He gonna say, "Good and faithful servant, well done."
I love it, man. All about perspective and just
All
knowing the
about
truth.
perspective.
I
Yep.
love that.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, I mean, just from a simple place of you've created a brand that really was assigned to you by
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
and it's a brand that is not all about money and it's
Yeah.
making an impact.
Yep.
But you've gotten to a place to where you said you've hit, or you hit six figures, or you just at
Yeah.
six figures.
We're at six figures. Yep.
You
So
at
we
six
are we
figures.
are making money,
Absolutely, and you
and
making
that's
money, and
important.
absolutely, absolutely. You ain't you know what I'm saying. You it got to run. You got to operate, and you're at six figures. Did you think that you would be at six figures this quick for your brand?
So I don't want to sound cocky,
Yeah.
but I've learned where when God tell you to, God is not a deadbeat father.
Right.
He takes care of his children,
Uh
and if
huh.
he say he gonna do something, he gonna do it. So
100.
to see that we at six figures, I'm in awe, but I'm not surprised.
Right.
I already know that God has told me that Love Billboard will be $1 million business, right? I'm
Absolutely.
not afraid and I'm not ashamed to say that. But
Absolutely.
I'm gonna show Christians what to do with a bag,
Right.
because the world has already showed us what they do with a bag. A
Right.
lot of them get a bag and then they kill themselves because
Mm.
they realize, oh, this don't make me happy,
Right.
right?
Right.
So it's like, oh wait, what do we need to do? What do Christians need to show people what you do with a bag. So one of my dreams is to get another entrepreneur. We get together, we get in our jet. I ain't afraid to say it.
To show that. Go ahead and speak that.
We get in our jet and we fly over and we start building wells in Africa.
I
We
love it,
start
Danielle.
building schools and churches. We start representing and say, this is what believers do with money. Because if Jeff Bezos can go to the moon and he don't even, you know what I mean,
Right.
profess Jesus is Lord, then man, there's so much potential in what we can do is out of this world.
That's
No pun
amazing.
intended.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Nah, I love it.
You know what I
I
mean?
love it. I love it. Nah, I love it. I love it. I know all that's gonna come to you and more. And man, it's just so inspiring. So what's next for
Thank
you,
you.
Danielle? Like you've done some great things. People are being impacted. The brand is growing, it's getting out there. What are your next moves? What do you see for even maybe Q4 coming up for this year?
Yes. So honestly speaking, the whole course thing that is going right now, I know that people need to hear. Today I had a one-on-one session, like I said, and the person said, "Man, some of the stuff that I'm hearing, excuse me, that I'm hearing from you, we've done a lot of research online, and I haven't heard this from anybody else."
Mm-hmm.
So I know that God is raising up entrepreneurs in this hour,
Right.
right? I know that God is raising up people in this hour. And so the next thing for me is just to be in position to wherever, whatever God wants to do. And I know that teaching and knowledge, people are searching for teaching, people are searching for knowledge, people are searching for that.
Right.
So I want to be in position. So continue to educate myself and to continue sharing what I've learned. So that's where I'm at right now. That's my main focus right now. And with the t-shirt business, that is moving like a well-oiled machine. And I'm excited to put out some new stuff coming up soon. So all of that is kind of working together.
I love it. I love it.
Yes,
Second to last question I want to ask you.
sure.
Second to last,
Thank
because
you.
I've heard
Somebody
you
said they
talk.
was praying for me. I really appreciate that. I need all the prayers I can get.
Absolutely, absolutely. Many blessings, Tamika. Uh, you talk a lot about hearing God's voice.
Yeah.
How you get tuned in?
Ooh, that's a good question. Stopping,
Mm,
pausing.
mm,
If you read in Second Samuel, David had just not to be preaching, but David had just lost everything. His armies had lost everything. And it was kind of almost his fault, right? And he just felt overwhelmed. Everybody was literally like just going in on him. And the first thing that he done, he stopped, right?
mm.
King, who is it? King, is it Josephat? Maybe King Josephat. He was also facing a challenge in his life, and he needed to hear from God, and he stopped.
Right.
That's one thing that we don't do. Pause everything that's going on. Spend that quiet time with God. Stop everything and say, "Okay, Lord, I'm listening."
Mm,
And that is really how you hear from God. Again, God does not have a speech problem. We have a hearing issue.
mm,
And you don't have to be perfect in order to hear from God. And you
mm.
don't have to do a lot of these religious and tradition things to hear from God. Like
Right.
we have direct access to God because of the blood of Jesus. Literally, if you want to hear from God, you're on this call, somebody that's watching this and you on this call, you're on this live, once you get off the live, do what the word says. Go into a quiet room and just sit, right?
Mm,
Sit and call onto the presence of God to speak to you, and He will speak to you. And the way that He speaks to you is the way that you understand. It's kind of like really quick. I know I'm 36 years old, and my
mm,
mom is on her way down here to spend a little time with me. And I know if I'm in a Walmart with my mom and she goes, Danielle, or no, not if she goes, Danielle, if I go, Mom, which is uh, every woman in Walmart's name is probably mom because
uh-huh.
everybody is a mom. But she is going to know my voice,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I'm going to speak to her because I've spent time with her. So the more time that you spend with God, the easier you'll be able to detect his voice. Basically,
Right.
is what I'm saying.
Fact.
And he knows exactly how to speak to you. That could be a commercial, that could be a this live right now that we talking that he's speaking to people. It could be whatever he'll speak to you. So have your eyes open, have your ears open.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I think that's good. That's good wisdom. So, um, if there's one thing that you could tell yourself at the very beginning of your journey when you started that you may
Mm.
have found out along the way, is there any advice you would tell yourself, or do you think
Ooh.
that you good to go?
Ooh, that's making me emotional. Just that's probably the greatest question.
Sure,
If there was one thing you said that I could tell myself
sure.
in
Mm-hmm.
the beginning,
Yep.
you got everything that you need.
There we go. There
That's
we
what I
go.
would tell myself.
I
Because
love it.
when you first start out, you feel like you have nothing.
Mm, mm,
But if you got yourself and you got your mind and you got the ability, it's people that's sitting in a hospital bed right now that cannot move, that cannot talk, that cannot, they really can't do nothing. You know what I
Right.
mean? They really are like stuck.
Right.
But if God has blessed you to open your eyes, God has blessed you to walk, talk, and breathe. You got everything you need to grow your business. You got everything you need to do what He's calling you to do. So that's what I would tell myself. I would say, Danielle, you about to start this t-shirt business, and guess what, honey? You got everything you need.
Oh, wait. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Well, Danielle, this has been a blessing.
It's
This
been a blessing for
conversation,
me too.
this
I
has
love
been
it.
this is I know we had some talks before we got on live, but you shared some with me and you need to do that. You know what I'm saying? You need
Okay.
to step forward and do that. But this has been amazing. I appreciate you for sharing your heart, sharing your wisdom, your experience, being transparent.
hmm
I know that there's a lot of people who are just starting their journey out,
hmm
and whether they're watching right now or they watch the replay, I know it's going to help them a ton. So, if you can, I know people are going to be hitting you up. I know them consultations going to be flooded. Tell
Uh-huh.
people where to find you. Give them your Instagram, website, whatever they need to do to get in contact with you.
Yes, so you can find me on Instagram at Danielle Tashae, and there is a link under there where it shows where you can sign up for to do one of my one-on-ones. I absolutely love it. People are trying, we talked about going to the course thing, but these one-on-ones is kind of where God has me right now. I could definitely do a course where it could just be this digital product, but it's something about sitting and talking to somebody, hearing their voice, hearing their thing. So that's kind of where I am right now. So you can find me there. You'll find Love Billboard there. And I'm here. And I just want to honor you and I want to thank you. This is an amazing platform. I know that everybody's watching. I know that I seen you before I started Love Billboard and I was inspired. So you are building up things, things that I do, that's coming back to you too. Things that other people do, that's building your treasure. So I'm praying over you. Again, after I get off this call, I'm gonna be praying for everybody who has watched it. Y'all, we in this together. You got everything that you need. Yes, and let's keep going. Let's stay focused. Let's do things in excellence. Let's slow down if we need to slow down. Let's speed up if we need to, because some people
Mm,
just sitting on what God has given them. You ain't moving, and
mm.
God has told you to move. It's time, okay? It's time. So yes,
Absolutely, absolutely. Love Danielle. Many
yes,
blessings to you, and
same
we'll
here.
definitely be in touch. And I truly appreciate you, family. Thank you a ton.
Same here. Same
All
here.
right, talk soon. All right,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Oh man, hey man, hey, I know that y'all love that. That was an amazing interview, man. I can't even really call it an interview. That was amazing, just conversation. And I'm always appreciative when someone could come on here and share and be real and be open, and it's not so much about business. We talked about a lot of aspects, from spiritual to business to life to mistakes to dreams and hopes to so it just ranged all over the place. And I think that is so important to have those type of conversations, especially with people who have accomplished something, because in reality, when we're trying to build these businesses, these are the things that we face on a daily basis. You feel what I'm saying? These are the things that we go through. We try to focus and think it's okay, business, I need to work on this, I need to do this. But what happens when you go through life situations or family situations, or stuff is happening and you have wake up calls and all these different things? It's a lot that goes into it. And so I just think that it's valuable to be able to get that perspective. And Danielle provided a ton for us today. So, as I always do, man, y'all know I got, millionaire notes, and there's a few key things that I wrote down, from our conversation, from what Danielle talked about. Number one, she told her story before she even got started with Love Billboard. The first thing that really just stood up to me is she said that I think she was out for a birthday, took a picture with somebody. That lady, she fell down, she went to the hospital, and she was gone. You know what I'm saying? Huge wake up call. I think even after that time, she said she had a head on collision, was able to walk away from that. So she had these two big life circumstances that occurred that made her just realize, you know what? I need to start walking in my purpose. I was in this old law enforcement police thing. I was doing this for a while, but now it's time for me to walk inside of my purpose and do what God called me to do. I think that was extremely powerful. And so for everybody watching this, I want you to realize you have a purpose. You have a path. Get clarity on what the reason you are on this earth for and start walking towards it, because you never know when that time is up. We want to have long life. That's what we pray for, but we never know. And if we start walking in our path, we can be able to impact other people. I think that was huge. You know what I'm saying? I think that was big. The other thing is this. She said she wanted to do her business in excellence. It's real rap. She talked about, you got auntie, you do a business a certain way. It's real spiritual. They got deep names, but things aren't together. The business isn't together in a certain way. It doesn't look good, doesn't have clean aesthetics. So, just making sure that you operate with a spirit of excellence. That's something that Danielle talked about. She talked about launching every day and not so much relying on family and friends and people that you know to grow your brand. But she talked about launching every single day. Somebody new needs to come into her brand every single day. She needs to be marketing to new people. And one thing that I want you to realize is, because I've heard this, I brought it up because I heard the sentiment so many times. Do not worry about if somebody invests in your brand. Don't worry if somebody, there's a meme out there. There's a meme in the video. Y'all probably saw it before. It's some type of meme to where it's like, you didn't share my brand, or what I'm saying? What happened when I couldn't get a share? I couldn't get a like. I couldn't get these different things. Yeah, that's cool. But when I see that thing, I'm like, listen, man, it's not, you don't have to depend on nobody else to do that. It's so many people out there that resonate with your story, that want to rock with you. It's okay. Your friends and your family aren't your target audience, and you shouldn't put pressure on them to support you at a certain type or certain capacity. It's okay. It's okay. That's the power. That's the gift that we have right now, is the internet, to be able to connect us all across the world. So I just want y'all to really pay attention to that. Anybody dealing with that is fine, but realize, man, you got a lot of people. Your tribe is out there. You feel what I'm saying? Oh, one big thing, Danielle, she said, gems. She said, your response to lack should be creativity. When you feel in lack, when you feel like you don't have something, when you feel like you don't have the resources, let that feeling create or generate creativity to help you replace and fill in that lack. I think that's extremely powerful. And the thing that I want you to realize is that you are made in the image of a creator. You are a creator. Tap into that power and create. That really resonated with me a lot, because I remember, man, when my back was against the wall and I was failing over and over and over and over again. And one of the things, I was in my corporate career for my whole life, not my whole life, I'm tripping. 8-9 years I was in my corporate career. And I remember being in that career, and one of the biggest fears that I used to have was, yeah, Charles, you know how to go get a paycheck and you know how to go work. But if you was out, if you had to be out without having a job in the system to be able to provide for you, you wouldn't be able to make it. And that was one of the biggest insecurities that I had for most of my adult life, until I ended up jumping into this whole entrepreneur journey that I'm in right now. And the first couple of years, I had to face my fear. Not because I wanted to. I would have loved to thrive, but I had to face my fear of losing everything and figuring out how to get it back. And I remember so many different times in this exact room when I was down bad and I had to look within myself and create. And so I really resonated with that, with what Danielle said, and I wanted to write that down. And I just want to say one last thing about it. There's probably more creative power within you that you haven't even identified and discovered that you have yet. Your creative power goes deeper than you're even knowledgeable of having at this point in time. And sometimes it takes a little bit of being your back against the wall and you failing to figure out that you have that thing, but you got superpowers within you. Make sure that you activate them. The next thing is this. When she launched her brand, she talked about she did a pre-order model. I think that's genius. I think that's pure genius. She said that she had a picture. It was of herself. She posted it. She got about 200 orders before she had any type of inventory. She tested the market and the market responded, and it gave her the evidence that this brand was going to work before she did too much investing up front. That's a great way for you to be able to start your brand. There's a lot of people where you get slowed down by trying to figure out, I need to get the perfect thing and I need to order this and this. There's room for that. That is a business model to where you can get stuff up front. That is a business model. It's perfectly fine. But you can also use this pre-order model, test out the market, get the customers money, pay for it. You just want to make sure that you do it properly. She said that the turnaround time that she mentioned was around 7 to 14 days. She gave herself enough time. Anybody who bought knew what they were signing up beforehand, and boom, they moved forward. All right, so I think that's a gem. I think that's a pure gem. All right. One thing that she also mentioned is she posted a picture of herself because she knew, based on the data, based on previous times that she's posted, that her pictures and her selfies got the most engagement. And I remember she talked in the conversation, she said she fought with it a little bit, but she realized that God made her the way that God made her. And that's what people responded to. And she used that, right? And so figure out when y'all are done, if you haven't done it yet, if you got your business account, when you get off of here, go to Instagram, look at your insights, figure out the posts that people, I flip through them all the time. The ones people comment the most, the ones people share the most, the ones that people like the most, the ones that people make them click the links in your bios the most. Start figuring out, because you can use that formula for future organic posts, but then it even gets more powerful when you find out what works organically, and then you can sprinkle some type of paid advertising on it later on. So I thought that was a pure gem. Heart, authenticity, consistency. These are words that Danielle used. This is probably the quote of the day for me. You know what I'm saying? Danielle gave us a lot today, but the quote that she gave to me that stuck with me today is, give your heart before you ask them for their hand. Give your heart before you ask for the hand. Connect with them. Share your story. Be authentic. Be transparent. Show your flaws. Let people know that you're real. Help people dream. Let them know that they can do it. Let them know that they can overcome. Share your experience. That is going to help your audience connect with you in a deep way. And Danielle ended up mentioning, she said she's so connected with her audience, she could come up with water bottles, stickers, a book, a notebook, a new piece of clothing, a coat, a jacket, whatever it is, because people believe in her, they trust her, they're tapped in with her as the business owner. I want y'all to be brave and be bold and do that. I know that some of y'all deal with struggling to get on this camera and talk and feel like it's crickets and feel like you wonder what people think about you. You don't want them to say something bad about you. You don't want to mess up. But I want to let you know that it's okay, because just like we talked about, just like Danielle said, who is anybody to throw the stone at anybody? Everybody's dealing with something. People got their own insecurities. The thing is, I feel like sometimes we get so caught up on ourselves that we don't realize that people got their own insecurities that they're dealing with. And we make it seem like everything that we may do wrong is magnified in people's lives. I was listening to somebody the other day. I forget who it was. I was watching the interview. But the real thing is, man, we just like little ants, man. We ants. in this world, man. There's a lot of people in this world. There's a lot of stuff going on. People got family issues, eating issues. Like me, I need to go work out. I need to go walk and stop eating too much. You know what I'm saying? So these things, man, come on, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got this. Believe in yourself. Pull up this video. Y'all want to make these brands go? Get them to connect with you. You got something that's going to illuminate somebody's entire world. And getting one DM, one like, one comment to somebody just saying, thank you so much, will give you the confidence that you need to just keep pushing forward and start bringing yourself forward and show up to be who you are supposed to be. Nobody has a fingerprint like you do. You're special. Give your heart before you ask their hand. That's huge. That's straight from Danielle. She talked about testimony. Ooh. And she spoke to me so much too, man. She said, your testimony and talking about it helps you overcome it. So some of the things that you might be fearful of, when you start speaking on it, that testimony helps you overcome it. She gave me a verse from the Bible, but I ain't write it down. I'm going to have to double back. You know what I'm saying? I asked her how she hear from God. She said, slow down. Slow down. Spend time. So look, man, this was good game today, man. I'm just going through y'all's comments real quick. I want y'all to make sure that y'all go tap in with her. Go to her Instagram. Everything is going to be below this video. Go to her Instagram. Y'all, make sure y'all go get that $75 consultation. I'm going to be pushing that thing like crazy. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go ahead and get that. Go talk with her. She said that's the space that she's in right now. Allow her gift to help you at this moment in time. She's willing to serve in that capacity, right? Get some clarity on your brand. I think that's an amazing deal. Y'all go hit that up, all right? Anton, you can do it, brother. You say, I'm terrified of public speaking. You can do it, bro. You can do it. Start small. Don't even feel like it has to be start with maybe a 30-second video. Make it 10 seconds if you got to. Start small and build up from there, bro. You got this. So listen, family, I just want to say that I appreciate y'all. Thank you a ton for all your support. Thank you a ton for watching the show. If you found value from this, please share it. Put it in a group, share it, send it in an email, text it to somebody who could find value from this conversation. And I want to let you know that you can do it. There are great things ahead of you. That brand that it's been put in your heart is meant to come out and it's meant to flourish. And if you believe in yourself, it's going to come to pass. I'm going to go ahead and end it how I always end it. I got these wristbands. Matter of fact, I got the pink wristband. The black one says you're one t-shirt away. The pink one says, if you could see it with your mind's eye, one day you're going to be able to see it with your real eyes. When you get a t-shirt Millionaire shirt, you get both of these for free. Many blessings to you. I appreciate you. Thank you a ton. I see y'all on the next episode, man. Y'all have a blessed night.